Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1.5 Championship. We're here today for the Italian Grand Prix round 2 out of 16. And we've got Breeza on a lap once again. Bit of deja vu from yesterday with the Ferrari to start qualifying. Comes round into the final sector through Ascari. Lovely stuff, nice and tidy for the Italian team, a Ferrari driver. In P13 at the moment, not set the lap time. JMO currently sets the pace at 19.7. Pretty decent right there. What's Breeza going to be able to do as they have a car right up ahead of them? Spinning round, goes across the line, does Breeza, and it's going to be a P2, a 20.0, so 3/10 off. Interesting to see. Zingy, welcome back. Strategy today, please.
It's going to be a medium hard medium, although you could risk it and do a medium soft. If you're in a DRS train, look after those tyres a little bit and then go really for the last 9-10 laps hard in the soft tyre, try to make up from track position. But it's going to be split strategies depending on this, depending on the setups.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Lepic just making a bit of a mistake actually. I didn't realise that they weren't running a front wing, unfortunately, so I don't know quite what happened there. We've got, let's see who else is on a lap. I think Benjamin is on a lap. Benjamin, nope, he's invalidated that one. Currently sits in P3, 5/10 off Breeza, so there's a little bit of a gap. But other than that, they should be good to go. We got Blake on an outlap. We got Gilly on an outlap. Who else can we see on a lap? We got Dave Raptor sitting 2 laps on the soft. So does Larlick as well. That's not going to help you go any faster. It's early on in the session at least, so they hopefully will be good to go. I'm just trying to see, can we find anybody else who's about to start a lap? The Ferrari's already done. So is the Mercedes. I think Gilly is going to be the first one to watch. They also have, is that JJ right behind them? JJ is a little bit close, I have to say. That might not be the best idea. I know they'll want to tow, but they're going to have to make overtakes if they want to tow. Not maybe having the best idea here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, obviously you can get a tow in real life, and you can do it from a bit further away. I don't know what JJ's intentions are. Maybe he doesn't think he's fast enough, and maybe he just wants to stick with Gilly. And whatever lap time Gilly sets, then he'll copy. Oh, it's done when he's hit him! He's hit him when he's went straight on! Oh my days! He's fluffed it. He's right into the back of Gilly, and that's ruined Gilly's lap. And JJ, his lap's presumably going to be ruined too, just by him making a simple strategical mistake in replacing his car. He's hit it right into the back of him. That's very odd. I've never seen that before. As he's invalidates, so...
Not sure what they were really trying to do there. It was pretty inevitable what was going to happen for them. They're going to either get slowed down or have to try and make an overtake or even contact, and one of those three happened anyway. We're on Blake now. Got a new wheel to hand, so let's see how this treats him, if he can show his pace once again. Of course, last weekend at the Netherlands, his wheel did break early on, so he had to retire from the race, gets to the DRS zone. Currently set at 20.9. Let's see what they're going to do relative to that last lap. So I'm at half a tenth quicker here. So that is a pretty nice improvement, but still it's going to be a little way off the top two. They need a bit more time in this final sector as they head down towards Parabolica, the final corner. Big swooping right hander, get on the traction smoothly, don't want to lose it now, try and keep it tight to the right hand side. and then across the line, DRS available, although it's after the line. And there you go, up to P3, a 20.1, close enough to Breezer now. And let's see, maybe both AlphaTauris can challenge the Ferrari today.
Yeah, Blake's looking good on his new equipment. I mean, it takes quite a while to get used to new equipment, as I've heard from what you've said. As who just went up a position there? Oh my, I do not know.
Not Gary, no. That was either. Oh, it was Blake, I think. I don't know. No,
sure.
protections just went up to P6. There you go. NA driver, of course, reserving for the EU tier. Gilly retires from the session on
he's crashed.
I think they went for a second run. Can we get to see that on their teammates on board? As we head through the second Lesmo, if they just binned it on the exit of the corner. Yes, they have. Carry the momentum through the corner, get onto the curb, and unfortunately, that's them round. We will stay with Lepic's teammate. And yeah, I don't know what happened to JJ earlier on. That will be investigated with about 10 minutes left of the session when that happened.
Ooh.
Tiny bit of DRS, but that was slipstream, but that was an interesting one. I think that was Zora just up ahead. And Larlick retires from the session at the same place as Gilly does as well. Lepic, though, does come around the final corner, gets tight to the right-hand side. Across the line they go, and it puts them into P8. Not enough to beat their teammate 2/10 off. In fact, so they got a bit more time to find. We'll have to see how this goes. We've got a couple people on outlaps right now. We've got Breezer we will focus on here. See him go through Ascari, now up through Parabolica moment like Charles Leclerc did. Hopefully it's going to gain him time still. We won't know until we get to that line. We've passed all the sectors. We won't get any kind of idea. There's 2 cars off, that is. Is that Reese on an outlap? And I don't know who else. The Aston's protections, of course. Across the line, Breezer goes into the pit lane. And an absolute flyer there. Lovely stuff. And right, let's go and see if we can find anyone else. Dave Raptor's continuing to go on these tyres, which isn't going to help. We got Reese into turn 1. Let's see what he can do here on board with the Alpine. A bit messy on the exit, unfortunately, on the curb. That's not going to gain them any time as they head towards turn 3 and 4.
You want to take a bit of 4th gear here. When you get on the curb, it's a bit of an RNG curb. Don't touch the inside curb on the right hand side. And now coming into the first Lesmo, brake around 25 metres. You want to run wide on the exit, let the car go out to the left hand side. Now for Lesmo 2, you want to touch that little green bit on the inside. He's dropped it! He spun it! Oh! And he's nearly out. He's nearly done the same thing as Larlick and Gilly did.
Zora's done the same thing, as you can see them right there.
Keeping his tyres intact, although his front wing is not there. Oh, and he hits the wall again, hits the DRS board, and needs to get out of the way because JJ is on a lap. He's going to grab this slipstream actually. Very smart from JJ. Now coming down under the old circuit and now into a Ascari now. JJ, purple middle sector. You don't want to cut it in too much. You want to hold it to the right hand side. Don't touch the curb here. Run it out as wide as you can. Now coming down to Parabolica, you just want to keep the car as straight as possible, not scrubbing off any speed whatsoever. Braking round about the 75 metres, maybe 50. You want to hug it to the inside, run it out wide, and now cut back to the right hand side. Don't go over the line because you'll invalidate, but hug it, and it's P5.
Lovely, 20.5, a tenth ahead of Gary, or half a tenth ahead of Gary. Still quite a long way between them and the top 4, and that is automatic 5-second time penalty for JJ for post-race. I hate to say it, but obviously didn't read what was in the chat and in the briefing. Once again, just showing us what he's got in the bag. Obviously, he's just set that P5 position, but he's had a very interesting qualifying, I will admit, with Gilly and that as well. We're going to go off on them for now and go and see if we can find anybody else. We've got Lepic on a lap. Dave Raptors into the pit lane for the first time in a while. Going to see if they can get onto some fresh tyres maybe. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. We've actually got Benjamin and protections on laps. No, that's not Benjamin. Where am I going here? Sorry for all the messy stuff. Now, right, we will watch on board with that because they're going to be... no. Gary, going to be the first one to actually set a lap time here. Even though it's protections, I'm very tired. Gary will come across the line to start the lap, and DRS available into turn 1. A long wait to turn 1. Get yourself psyched up for the corner, and brake just before the 100, maybe even earlier, depends if you're using racing line or not. Into interesting second on the exit, really going to have to be careful on the throttle for that one, heading towards the second chicane. One of the most daunting. I think that this chicane is probably the worst one out of the lot. In a way with the curbs, of course, but they get over that first one nicely. It allows them to get a good exit carrying into the second one, now into the first burst mode. Minimum speed, keep it up, keep the momentum and the revs, but don't get too loosey-goosey on the curb. Cut that inside corner, and they don't go wide over that curb, so they're going to lose a bit of time, but they won't risk themselves crashing out. They've got a car up ahead, they're going to just try and get any little bit of slipstream from them. Goes into a Ascari, high speed, very technical. You've got to turn in, but they've got a bit of understeer. You can't make a correction in that chicane. Unfortunately, that had to happen, and it's going to lose them a lot of time into the final corner at Parabolica. Let's see what they can do. On the throttle, are they going to keep it to the right hand side? No. Once again, a little bit late on exit to keep it to the right hand side. They do eventually, and it does push them up ahead, 3/10 in the end, a 20.2. I reckon they can still do a bit better than that with that understeer moment. It just depends on how quickly can they get to the pits, and if they can actually get to the pits.
Yeah, I don't think they've got much time, if any at all. It's Levick. It goes P2. Pipping Ben by 4 milliseconds. Ben's on an out lap. Oh, no, he's on a lap now, but he might have messed up because he's not using any battery. So, would you like to take us through a lap of Ben here?
Yeah, of course we can go down to turn 1 a bit on the exit curb there. Now, I'm not sure if that will actually gain you time by going that wide, but they still get it done. Heading towards turn 1, maximum speed here, almost revving out in 8th gear through to the second corner. You've got to try and compromise that turn 1 for the turn 2. You've got to be smooth on that exit because that's where you're really going to gain the time. Bit of a dip onto the grass there with the front tyre. It's not ideal, of course, but now into the second chicane they go. It's very deceiving, this corner. You want to brake later and later, but you can't because you once again have to focus on the exit of this circuit, especially. Bit of a touch on the inside curb and the outside curb, really taking the risks. Once again, a little bit wider than we saw a minute ago, but they keep it together, so well done to Ben. Let's see what they can do. They had a bit of experience yesterday, of course, so they got some track time in them. Now, Ascari losing it, going to lose a lot of time for that one. They keep it together, but they had to lift, and that will cause you to lose a lot of momentum as you go all the way down the straight. It's a long straight to get through into Parabolica now. You can try and recover the time that he's just lost. Very wide, almost losing the car on the throttle. Across the line he'll go. What's it going to be? And it will be a P3. Lepic, Blake will not improve. JMO has invalidated, and they will not improve either. Gary protections both on 2-lap-old tyres, but you've got JJ who might be able to improve here. Reese actually is going to try and set a lap time, but no, they have made a mistake, and that's going to be it for Reese. JJ, I think, is the only one who's likely to improve. I believe he goes across the line. What's it going to be? And it is a 4/10 improvement, but they only move up 2 positions there. Very close to Blake, but not enough in the end. As you said, Gary protections, they're probably not going to be able to find any time on those older tyres. Dave Raptors might have a chance here, but I'm not entirely sure. Despite JMO invalidating on that last run, it looks like it's going to be a pole position for the AlphaTauri. And actually, how much did they improve from their first run, or did they actually improve from their first run?
I don't think they did improve from the first run, actually. I'm not too sure. I think they might have just set a lap and then stand pit lane.
Yeah, fair enough. Breezer did improve, I think. He did improve by a couple. Maybe it was a tenth or two, I'm not quite sure, I can't quite remember. But he did, of course, put himself up there. And once again, JMO and Breezer lock out the front row in the EU here. Third for Benjamin as we watch him make his way to the pit lane. And we'll look at the results. JMO on pole position for the Italian Grand Prix, Breezer in P2, and then Benjamin in P3. He finished on the podium last race. Let's see if he can make use of his starting position here. We'll skim through the race directive, of course. And then we will be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1.5 Championship. We're today for the EU Italian Grand Prix. And JMO once again lines it up on pole position and is accompanied by Breezer in the Ferrari. Let's see if they get distracted by that colour red behind them at their home event, of course, with the team, I should say. Benjamin puts himself in P3 for McLaren. They have moved to McLaren along with JJ. And then we have Lepic in a P4, Blake in P5, the other AlphaTauri. We've got JJ right behind in P6, Gary Protections reserving as an NA driver. They'll still score equal points to the EU drivers though. Lalek in P10, Dave Raptors in P11. We've got Sven, who is a higher tier driver, along with Nifo, who will not score the same points, but they can still race. Interesting for Sven to be disqualified from the formation lap. Then we have Reese and Zora at the back of the grid, not having the best qualifying of all time for both of those guys, but they will be able to score points. So let's see what they can do, if they can make their way up the order. At the start, it is Monza. It's going to be a pretty, not easy track for overtaking, but that is very, very possible. Thingy, what's looking the tyres like? What the tyres looking like?
Well, we see the top three on mediums, and then Lepic on hard, so he's going to be looking to go long, maybe try and stick with the top three, who seem to have quite good pace, so maybe he'll go long. And then you've got people like Gary and Gelly on the soft tyres who are going to be trying making their way through the field as quickly as possible, then probably going for hard tyres until the end, so they watch out for these two shooting their way up the order. Everyone else on mediums or hards. Interestingly enough, the people at the back, most of them went for mediums, which I didn't expect.
Oh, JMO spun on the formation lap, giving a little bit too much grief, unfortunately. That's a weird one.
Don't be doing that, man. Your tyres will get worn out.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe they need to get that under control, because of course on the formation lap, no, the safety car, so I should say, in the last race, it didn't go quite to plan either. We're getting lined up on the grid. Hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, because we're about to go racing. Ready. Hold. go! Who's gonna get it? Will J-Mo be able to maintain their pole position on that medium tyre? Will Breezer be able to try and fight back for Ferrari? I don't quite know. Benjamin can't find a way through. Blake up to P4, having a look behind the rival. Benjamin goes off the circuit. He manages to avoid everybody else, so I don't believe what has happened. And J-Mo's off! J-Mo's off. I don't know if there's damage, but they're around and they will lose all the positions in the world. Breezer lead for Ferrari. Blake into P2. Benjamin maintains P3 somehow. After that one, they just lose it to the Red Bull of Gary, and there's contact again. I don't believe it. There's a big car park. Lots of cars involved. What on earth just happened there? What on earth just happened? Many drivers with no front wings, and is that a VSC? It is.
I believe so. Jamie got a good start. He was just defending his position and then he just lost the traction, so I don't know what happened there. Gary's up to P2. I told you, look out for that soft tyre, and he's done it. He's up to P2 already. Well, Gilly's languishing in P14. He didn't get a good start. I think he might have been involved in that massive pile-up. I don't actually know what happened.
Yeah.
But there seems to be about 5 or 6 drivers with severe damage, so there's going to be some very split strategy after that. Like,
Dave
wow,
Raptors has front end plate damage. He's the first one with damage here. I think Lepic's been able to avoid it. JJ's been caught up. Zara's been caught up. Protections, I don't know. No, they haven't. It doesn't look like it, at least from our view. And then we have Reese, who's going into pit lane right now, all having to dive their way in as best as they can. Nifo seemed to be involved. Gilly also, and J-Mo stays out, so he's actually been able to avoid it, and Benjamin goes and gets a drive-through penalty for speeding. Was that a car off the track right behind?
It was Dave Raptors, yeah.
Okay, so he's not gone to the pit lane, interestingly. He's going to lose maybe a little bit of time. Maybe I was hoping for a safety car or predicting a possible safety car later on. Gary, absolutely rapid, however, on these soft tyres, but it's no match for Breezer right now, who's got clean air and all the confidence in the world in that car.
I'd have all the confidence in the world if I was on medium tyre 3 seconds ahead. But Gary, remember, he has on soft tyre. He's going to have 5 or 6 laps where he's pushing. Well, there's a protected pit stop strategy for anyone who was wondering. But Gary's going to be rapid for these next few laps, so we're going to have to watch out for him. Although, come lap 6, 7, he's going to start dropping off the pace quite significantly. So that's when Ben would come back into it. Oh, I should know he's got a drive through. So who's going to be the next driver in line? Lepic, probably. Because he's not got front wing damage. His predictions goes a bit wide, following Lepic. So maybe that dirty air catching him out a little bit. Coming into the final few corners now. These 3 guys all battling for P4. Dave Raptors goes very wide, and Lepic just shoots up the inside. That damage really hindering Dave Raptors at that moment. As Benjamin comes into service drive through it, Lepic can't get past at the moment. Maybe that front wing damage is helping them on the straights a little bit, reducing the drag. And Dave Raptors is actually stuck in P3 at the moment. Into turn 1, is he going to go around the outside? No, he's not. He's went a bit wide into turn 2. He's been hit. He's round. Protections has hit him and he's round. And he's going to lose about 4 or 5 places there. Oh dear. That's not what you want to see.
Not ideal. Protection's now going to maybe feel a little bit bad. Blake's going to be able to take advantage of that, of course. The mentality of the driver ahead who's just been involved in a crash might hinder their performance. We'll have to see if they do get affected by it, but unfortunately Lepic's day has gone from bad to a little bit worse there, and Dave Raptors, as you said, could be faster in a straight line, maintains position, but no, protectors is round as well. I don't believe it. That corner once again catches everybody out, and J-Mo has to take avoiding action as the Aston returns to the racing line. They're going to have to take a pit stop, and that is everybody from P8 to P15 all making pit stops already. Blake is now going to attempt the move on Dave Raptors, but once again they can't get through. Sven's on the inside, going to try and get Blake here. He's going to try and get the move done as soon as he can and avoid the battle later on. Blake really wants to get through though. Maybe he can follow Dave Raptors, Sven through, and he does, but now Dave Raptors all of a sudden right behind. He's keeping up with these guys despite them both having DRS, which is very, very interesting. Blake on the inside trying his best to fight it, really wants to halve this position. Dave Raptors over the curb, but still there, and Blake, I think he's just going to have to sit behind Sven at the moment. Sven's got the move done, and he's going to try and hunt down the front guys.
Yeah, Sven's gonna get past on those hard tires. He might not be quicker than Blake for now around the corners, but on the straights he looks very quick. Dave Raptors is struggling so much. That's gonna get Lepic into the fight, and maybe he'll be able to slingshot from Dave Raptors all the way up to this battle for P3. So Dave Raptors has really put himself in a very tricky situation here. He could have pit, but although he would have have to pit twice. So maybe he's just trying to hold it on that hard tire and then go for the medium. Anyway, Blake, left and right, he can't find a way through yet. Through a Scary now. Oh, you don't want to touch that curb, but they both have. But they've kept the car in a straight line, thankfully. And Blake, it looks like he's using his battery because he's catching up a little bit as Lepic goes through it on Dave Raptors. So Dave Raptors not having a good time, although he will get the DRS. Now onto the main straight now. Blake's lost the car! It's in the wall! Oh, is that damage? It is. There's an end plate off and he's into the pits. Oh, wow.
What
simple
tyre
start.
is he on right now? On the medium tyres, he's going to have to go a bit early to the hards. Not sure if he can take it to the end of the race. JMO now going to try and take on Dave Raptors. Not able to get right there, but they take a slight inside line just in case to predict Dave Raptors' breaking point with that damage, of course. I think that was probably a wise move for JMO to do. Benjamin, after a drive-through, is already up to P7 after everybody has made a couple mistakes here and there. And JMO, of course, wants to make that move. Lepic's got a bit of clean air in front and behind of him, so he can focus on himself here. And then Gary's starting to lose a lot of time to Breezer. So Gary's going to have to plot on the hard tyres a little bit earlier than everybody.
Yeah, Yeo went for the move on Dave Raptors, although Dave Raptors will now get the DRS and he should be a bit faster. It looks like he's using the battery too, because we know the DRS is not very effective, so using a bit of ERS, I presume, into Ascari. Let's look at the difference between Yemo and Dave Raptors. Although he is on the medium tyre, you'll be able to see he just can't turn, and he's going to lose DRS if he's not careful. 8 tenths, 9 tenths, he's going to use all his battery, but I think Yemo is too. He's gaining, but it's not going to be enough into the final corner, and he's gotten the DRS just for another lap. He's holding on by the skin of his teeth. He almost loses the back end too, so he is pushing considering the circumstances. So he's trying his best, but it's very difficult considering that damage.
Yeah, that's going to be it for DRS and Dave Raptors. Unfortunately, the match didn't work. JJ in P9. Looking to follow Nifo. Of course, Nifo hired to a driver, pretty pacey. Let's see what they can do. Unless JJ's going to try and make an overtake on Nifo. I don't quite know. Nifo's trying to break the toe. Got to be careful of that. As long as JJ's not close enough to make a move, then it will be kind of alright. We got Reese and Blake very close together. Of course, Reese further back earlier on with the crash. Blake had a bit of damage as he did a kind of Charles Leclerc moment into the final corner, and he's now come out right behind Reese. He's on fresh tyres, whereas Reese is on they're not really old softs, but they're not very new either. Now to the outside line goes Blake. Goes for the move as Reese breaks very early. Lepic's out.
Crashed! Scary! He must have dropped it in a safety car! It was a safety car. That really changes the game, as Gary's going to react to it. Reese didn't have enough time, I don't think, to react to it, so he's in the lane now. Presumably for those hard tyres, Breeza is being put in a very difficult situation right now. And so is Sven. These people on the harder compound tyres are not going to benefit. Gary actually had damage. We were none the wiser, but Gary had damage. He's fixed it now on those hard tyres, Yemo and also for hard tyres, so I think it might be to the end. Well, everyone's going to go to these hard tyres, I'm pretty sure. And Blake's really lost out here. He's P9. We didn't take that into consideration.
Not ideal, but that's how it goes. Just looking at the crash from Lepic, it's an interesting place to crash in the corner. Easy corners to crash at, but they're taking the first left-hander, maybe got to the right-hander, and then just corrected the car and spun left anyway. Unless they've lost the car on entry of the corner, that is an interesting way to crash at that part of the circuit. But yeah, that's not nice. Nevertheless, Blake will make the move past the safety car, and the safety car will wait for Breeza. Zingy, did Breeza pass the pit lane before the safety car came out, or are they gonna just stay out anyway on these tyres?
They did pass the safety car, so Obviously, we're waiting for him again.
Yeah. Well, they're going to
But
go in now.
yeah, I mean that's a smart move to do. Call by everyone else's strategy, but keeping that track position. Sven, 10 seconds behind. He will inherit the race lead unless he was to come in two, but I don't know what tyres for. Breeze it in the lane now. Does it look like a good stop? I believe so. That's very good for him. Now, he's going to retain P2 by quite some distance, because obviously Gary is also under the safety car. But Breeza is the effective lead reader from Gary, and there's an Alfa Romeo who's going slowly without a front wing. Zora, he doesn't have a wing, and he's coming into the pits, so I don't know what happened there. That was very interesting.
Yeah, unfortunately they're going to be lapped, so it's going to be very difficult for them to actually gain anything back here. I don't know, they obviously can't re-overtake the safety car. Bad news. Oh wait, no, that's Sven. No, he is leading. I thought Bruce was still leading, never mind. But new front wing for Zora, hopefully he can still get back into the rhythm, I should say. Now, yeah, we're slowly catching up to the safety car now. We've got Sven leading the way. Breeza for the EU tier, and we have Gary, JMO, followed by JJ, Dave Raptors, Blake, Nifo up to P8, Protections and P9. Gilly finishes off the top 10 for the points finishers. Larlick actually would get a point, but no, there's been an incident under the safety car, or no, that was just Ben taking an extra pit stop, which is interesting. What tyre are they on?
They're on the mediums they were on at the start of the race, surprisingly.
Do they think they can go to the end, or are they wanting to try and go medium soft here?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what. No offence, but I don't know what lunatic would want to go medium soft. Those tires are going to die off. Unless Ben. I mean, I know Ben personally, he's a good guy. And he can probably find some way to make those mediums last. He's a magical guy. Not many people know that. One of the best about. So, we'll see what strategy he's going to pull off. Maybe the deficit. What on earth has happened there? Reese is trundling.
Yeah, this shouldn't happen. If you wanna, if you've got that bug, then you just have to take it, unfortunately, and try and see if you can get it removed later on. Zora isn't happy with that, as you can see, moving the wheel in such a way. I don't know what happened there. Ben, I assume, is gonna get... Actually, no, they're gonna get away with a penalty, because those guys behind were going so slow. Ben has actually got those positions. Okay, well, there you go. Unfortunately, for Reese and Zora, they've lost that. Is Zora now back in the battle? They've managed to unlap themselves, interestingly. That's
what has just happened there? Zora turned into Parabolica, and then the car just didn't turn, and then he's out the race. He was turning right, and then the car just went straight on. He could have got a puncture after one lap on those tyres.
An interesting one.
Might have to investigate that later on, but for now, I think the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, regardless of how everyone's caught up or not. Ben...
Another pit stop.
Yeah. So maybe he... Oh, no. Sorry, Aaron. He was getting his front wing changed, and he had to go into a different tyre, of course, so he went on to the medium, so we can get his front wing changed. But now he's, what, a minute behind?
So was he on the hards originally?
He was on the hards, he pit for mediums.
I see.
Unless he's seen it a one more lap, which...
Yeah.
Right. Unless it's coming last second, because we know what this game's like sometimes. But no, it's staying out. Safety car out on our lap. This allows Benjamin to maybe catch up now. So, let's see.
There's enough cars out of sector 3. They're not within sector 3, so the safety car wouldn't come in just yet. I think it will come in regardless. It's either next lap or the lap after. I think it's the next lap. So, everybody should be good to catch back up. Ben's finally on the correct tyre. Larlick, the only one with a time penalty, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look at that time penalty. It is a 5-second for, I presume, speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately. So that's going to hurt them a lot later on. They're actually on the soft tyre looking for maybe an aggressive start. But, I don't know. That's going to be very, very difficult. We saw yesterday Sean actually getting a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane. And that dropped him all the way, I think, from the podium positions, possibly all the way down to 7th or 8th, if I remember correctly.
Who was this?
I can't remember. Sven losing a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
But
That
yeah,
wasn't very good.
not ideal. Alrighty, let's have a look at this one. We should be about to go racing once again. Sven leads the way. 9-lap-old hards is the current pack. You can see the top 5 are actually all on hards, which is just going to make it quite difficult for Dave Raptors to get through here. We've got Breezer P2 leading for the EU drivers, just going to be the one to react to Sven up ahead. Gary in P3. Looking quick earlier on, let's see if he can maintain this momentum. JMO, after their issues at the beginning of the race, is finally back into the race now in P4. JJ in P5. Then we have Dave Raptors, Blake Niffo, Protections, Gilly, Larlick, Reese and Benjamin, who hasn't quite caught up yet. It depends on how slow these guys go on their in-lap, and they're not going particularly slow. The Ben might be in a bit of trouble here. They'll still gain some time, but we'll have to see. Safety car won't go in until it's hit that speed marker. There you go, managed to get it right, and Breezer is reacting lovely. It's very, very close, and actually side by side with JJ. JJ, I don't know how he's there. You're not meant to be side by side on the restart, but it's all very, very clustered. Breezer going defensive on the Red Bull, side by side with the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. JMO holds on to the position. Dave Raptors trying his best to fight through them. No, Breezer's round. How did Breezer go round? I don't believe that. I do not believe it. I don't think there was anybody else there to cause them any kind of problems. We got Dave Raptors backing off as he lets JMO go. What is going on? Protections has completely wiped out Blake there. And Protection gets a 5-second time penalty for severe collision. I think.
Yeah.
Unless that was a mistake, that's going to be a possible ban.
Oh dear. Well, that's not ideal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they outbreak themselves. It didn't look like it. And that's Zora leaving the session. Larlick's made a mistake on that restart, so the restart's gone horribly for them. Gary, of course, JMO inherits that position from Breezer, who I think just made that mistake on their own.
I'm not sure what happened to that first lap. That was kind of mental. I think Breezer just lost some traction on those second cold hards. It's Yemo shoots past Gary up into P2 at the effective P1. It's Sven. Hasn't made a stop, of course, so now Yemo is probably looking to pull away, although I don't know what I was going to say there, my bad. But now Gary's going to be able to keep within the DRS once it becomes enabled. So Gary might have to, might use Yemo to just keep within the DRS, stay away from Dave Raptors, who's on the medium tyre, who's actually under pressure from Niffo Jan at the moment. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he's not. Breaking into the second chicane. Do not touch the curb. Everyone keeps it nice and neat. Niffo loses the back end, and so does JJ. But no one's close enough to make some sort of an assault yet.
Yeah, fair enough. I am a little bit concerned about Blake. Of course, the contact happened, and he might, with the standard damage model we run.
No! Gary was looking to keep within the DRS of Yemo, but he spun it. Those car tyres clearly not giving off any grip, and from personal experience, they're not the best. So that's understandable. For the second lesson mode, the car just snapped on him, and that's it. That's how easy it can go round.
Yeah, that is very, very nasty indeed. And unfortunately, doesn't quite work if you want to go long distance on those tyres. So, as I was saying, I am a little bit concerned for Blake because, of course, Blake might have side pod damage with the increased damage model we have. Dave Raptors gets passed by Niffo in the meantime. Niffo now leads the train. Dave Raptors either going to try and maintain position or proceed to drop down. Larlick retires from the session as he goes...
Safety car once again.
Okay. On the exit, so I think they've got into Parabolica, underestimated or overestimated the tyres with the temperature, and that is unfortunately, as you said, another safety car. That's going to create a very annoying situation for the pit stops. It's a little bit, or it might be alright for Sven actually. It's not ideal, but it might be okay. Same for JJ here. But everybody else is in a bit of an sticky situation. Dave Raptors, Gilly will have a chance to go to the hards if they want to. Everybody else is either going to have to stay out or go for a double soft stint. No, not even a double soft stint. It's just not going to work. They have to stay out. I don't think there's any other choice at this part.
Protections is actually going to be a risk of a lap. Wait, is he already a lap? No, he's not. Yes, not. Maybe. But well, anyway, Sven, is he going to come into the pits? I believe so, surely. Right, yeah, he's coming in. Protections just stays within the lead lap. Sven... What? He's not in.
Oh.
Did he not just go into the pits? Am I seeing stuff?
No.
Okay, well then. No one's in. Apart from Protections, everyone else has stayed out. I don't know why Sven stayed out though. He could have put onto the medium tyres and went to the end.
I'm thinking maybe does he have the confidence in himself to escape early on?
Oh no. Oh
dear.
no.
Oh dear.
No. Oh no.
I think there's either one or two things. Protections tried to overtake the safety car, realised he couldn't, or for whatever reason, or they just made a mistake, or they hit Gary's crashed car. Now they're going to have to take it to the pit lane and get themselves lapped, unfortunately, which is going to make it extremely difficult to gain any positions. But if they finish where they are right now, they will still score a point. So
True.
It's not the worst position to be in, even though it's 1 point. As we were saying, Sven, he could be confident in his own ability here, that he can break away at the start, let the pack split up, then go for a pit stop and try and play through the field there, because otherwise he's going to have to make his way through a very close field, which is going to be a lot more complex to get through, rather than if it was all just spread out and he could get some slightly easier moves done, brake a little bit later as well if there isn't another car right up ahead. So maybe that's the thinking. It is an interesting situation to be in, of course, but I think this just might be what he's doing. Safety car should be confirmed in, but it's not.
No, it's only done one lap.
Okay,
Oh no, Ben just got damaged. Oh, he's broken his front wing off completely. Oh no. No, it's alright though, it's alright. He'll be able to come into the pits, chuck those medium tyres on and go to the end, so he'll be fine. Ben is getting all sorts of penalties now. I don't know what the game is doing.
Luckily he can serve one of them, although he doesn't really want to, with a 15-second time penalty. I don't quite know what just happened there. Was that contact with Blake or was that contact with Reese?
Well, it said with actually rear collision with Reese, so I'm presuming something might have gone on with a swapping of positions, which I don't know why would be swapping positions on the safety car, but who knows.
Okay, so he's gone for a set of soft tyres. I think his idea is he's going to pit again, serve another time penalty, and just try and get it to nothing if possible. Although the safety car might be in this lap, it's possible. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. J-Mo now finds himself leading the train, and weirdly, Protections hasn't pitted.
That's not. Oh no, he hasn't.
That's going to be extremely distracting for J-Mo on the restart. I'm really quite confused at why this is happening. But yeah, that's going to be extremely distracting for J-Mo on the restart. And he's going to be in a bit of trouble here.
And that also means Sven is going to have a bit of a buffer to Yemo. So, yeah.
Of course, once they do restart, they will ghost, but it's not gonna. They're not gonna ghost until it gets to the very, very end. So that's not an ideal position to be in. For J-Mo, of course, he still leads the way for the EU drivers, and then he's got an F1 driver behind him. So he himself has got a buffer as well between Dave Raptors and JJ. So J-Mo, in fact, could be in a good position, especially if his rival, let's say, Breezer, who was on the front row earlier and looking for a lead, looking for a possible win, is in P9 and hasn't really been able to gain much here. Benjamin's going to take another pit stop and go back onto, I guess, another set of softs.
No. You want to say mediums? Hards? What?
Interesting.
I won't question strategy.
For me, it looked like they were just putting wheel rims on, not actually any tyres at all. So McLaren maybe had enough. And Ricardo vibes. We'll have to see. Sven leads the way, and I think the safety car is going to be possibly going in whatever happens here. So JMO will take that P2, but it's not really JMO who has to react. It's Protections, and JMO has to react accordingly to Protections, because Protections isn't going to ghost until they get close to the line, or when the green flag shows at least. So this is going to be a very, very difficult situation to be in. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I'm not sure, although 8/10 looks like the gap. So, he's gonna hit the wall under safety car. As it's in this lap, oh no, Ben's not going to be able to catch up, will he? Depending on how fast Sven goes, let's see, will Ben actually be able to catch up this time? He's not using battery, which probably not the wise thing to do, but I am not Ben, so I won't
I
pressure
think
it.
he'll catch up. He's got that corner that he'll be able to go full speed in, and then he'll
He
be
will.
very, very close. Yeah, safety car isn't into the pit lane yet, so he'll be good to go.
That's lovely.
Got to wait for Sven to go for, once again, another restart.
He just lost it.
Alrighty. Sven, gone for it early. He's gone for it very, very early. And he's going to go to the inside. JMO going to try and get a toe off the ghost car, and he will then take that position, moves to the inside, does Protections, lets everyone go, which is extremely weird with that damage, but it is what it is. JMO now inherits that P2 effectively now. Nifo into P3, obviously they were already, but actually on track they are now. Dave Raptors in P4 at the moment, looking to put pressure on Nifo. No, they backed off. They realise it's probably not the best idea to do so at this stage. But yeah, not an ideal start for Breezer actually, as he's lost a lot of time and he loses more time now. What happened there?
I don't know, maybe I think he's got a bad restart and then he's not been able to have the momentum to just push on. So now Ben now up to P9, Breezer's dropped all the way down to 10th, and Sven leads still from Yemo. But he's very close coming to Ascari. The gap's around 3/10. Will he have an attack on Sven? Although he goes a bit wide there, loses a bit of time. Now Nifo is going to be able to use that catch up. Now Nifo's closer to Yemo than Yemo is Sven, so maybe he's under a bit of pressure at the moment. Now AlphaTauri driver.
DRS not available yet, so they've got a bit of time to wait. They can't afford to lose that gap now. It's going to be very hard to gain it back at a circuit like this.
Done. Oh no. Ben spun it at Parabolica, the tyre's not giving him the traction he needed, and he's round.
Not ideal. Not ideal. He's going to carry on in the race. Hopefully he can get back to it. What just happened there? Oh, am I seeing things? No, I'm not. There's contact with JJ and Blake as JJ gets a bit loosey-goosey on the rear. Blake will make the move. And finally Blake is back further up the field after their collision earlier on with Protections. Now I hope they don't have sidepod damage. Doesn't look like it visually from this side of the car. It might be the other side of the car. We'll have a quick look if we can see anything. No, it doesn't look like it. It just might not be visual to us anyway. I don't quite know. I can't quite tell. But other than that, everybody's getting through somewhat. Breezer is at the back of this train now, so they've managed to catch back up and maybe going to have a look at a couple moves shortly. We'll have to wait and see. But focusing back to the top three, Nifo is going to be nice and close to JMO. Although, if JMO thinks about it, they're F1 drivers. He might not really need to fight them, and he could just use them as a bit of a help to actually gain him time and secure a victory here. Lap 18 out of 17. We will be on 19, so 9 laps remaining of this race. Not long left.
It's not over yet. We've still got quite a few laps. They come into turn 1, Yemo looking for the move on Sven, but he's going to keep it behind for now. Wait for that DRS to slingshot his way past, although the DRS isn't as strong as it was last year, so it's going to be quite difficult to overtake. His light is flashing, and so is Sven's. And Blake's isn't flashing, so Blake has a bit more ERS. I'm not sure how much. but he's got a bit more as Sven goes defensive, I think. Yep, he does. Yemo's going to go around the outside into the first Lesmo. He shuts the door. He can't get through. Coming into the second Lesmo now, you need to get a good exit. Don't run too far onto the curb. Get nice traction. Coming down to Ascari.
Oh no, that's JJ round as well. Sorry, carry on with this battle here.
Sorry. And Yemo goes right around the outside. The pace difference, the speed difference, should I say, sorry. Very big. As he gets a penalty! He gets a 3-second penalty! Oh my days. And it's a VSC. I believe so. Let's see, abort. Yep, okay, VSC. After that, JJ instant, I believe.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's take a wee breath.
Alrighty, so that's
Sven's
top
in.
3. Okay, yep, as expected, fair enough. He had to pit at some point. But yeah, Nifo and JMO now going to be leading. It's only a VSC, luckily for JMO. I know he's got 3 seconds, but now he can work together. Maybe go for on-track glory later on, but currently the closest battle, I guess you could say, other than that, is Dave Raptors and Blake, although Reese has just retired into the pit lane, as they've had more problems, unfortunately, so that's not ideal, but that's no points, and Protections will now get 2 points to their standings, even though the reserve driver, still nice to see. Now, Blake looking close, but nothing available. Can't quite get it done here. And they're just going to have to wait behind Gilly, currently sitting.
Oh, he's lost the back end! Wow! I don't know if you caught that, but Blake losing the back end on those old hard tyres. They will be a little bit fresher than those 13 lap old mediums. Jeez, Dave Raptor's really extending these tyres. Thanks. Blake is going to use the slipstream, use the DRS. Dave Raptor goes very defensive into Ascari. He's going to have a compromise line coming out of Ascari into the Parabolga. He spins! He spins! He's round! Those tyres just giving up in the middle of Ascari, and he's round. Oh dear, those mediums just couldn't hang on, and he's round. He's lost quite a few places, and he's going to be under pressure from Ben if he's not careful. Oh, yeah. That's a shame.
13 lap old medium tyres. I know we've done a couple laps under the safety car, but they're coming kind of to the end of their life. And Dave Raptors has found the limit, and he might have to take it to a set of soft tyres possibly, unless he's going to pit. Not going to pit, sorry, and he doesn't, so he's going to try and stay out on these tyres. Breezer up to P5, right behind Gilly. Going to be able to put the pressure on. Both McLarens are now out of the battle here. So Breezer is just trying to pick his way through the field. Of course, Gilly on that medium tyre, which isn't going to get any faster. Breezer is still good to go to the end of this race. So we'll have to see. Gilly is usually a master of tyre wear. Everybody should be using pretty low downforce anyway, so it's not really going to be like there's a disadvantage to Gilly with tyre wear setup wise, unless somebody's got a really heavy downforce setup. I don't see why they would. But anyway, Breezer should have a pretty simple move in the next few laps, although Blake isn't that far ahead, and this could be a good opportunity for Gilly to take, as long as he can keep it quickly in a straight line. I wonder if Blake does actually have damage here, because he's not too quick in a straight line. That side pod could have a little bit of a situation, and he might have a little bit of extra drag on the straights.
Although his battery is flashing as Niffle gets ahead of Yemo at the moment. So Niffle into first place. Oh, no one's at the back of them unless that's just lag. But yep, that's Niffle into P1 and Yemo now P2. Blake, yeah, he looks a bit slow in the straight, she's not wrong. Although he is getting better exits, so maybe he's just running higher downforce, unless he does have that damage that you were alluding to earlier on. His friend hits the fastest lap, proving that he's absolutely rapid. Around outside the Benjamin into turn 1, he's cleared him before he even got to the corner. Those soft tyres really giving him the grip that he needs to push himself up the order. Ben on those 13 lap old hards, he's just not going to be able to battle him. So yeah, that's Sven up to P7 now.
Yeah, fair enough. Now Breezer's going to be really annoyed at this DRS train that they're now stuck in. They're looking forward to get past Gilly, but instead it's been completely counteracted. They use a bit of ERS to try and catch up to the Haas and get a better run, which they do, but it's going to be extremely difficult to actually get an advantage. Of course, Gilly now in the DRS, they haven't really gained much over on the lap. Let's see, is Blake going to try and push here? I don't think it's really worth a question, because Gilly can automatically spam the ERS to gain it back, although he's not really pushing. He does about get it. We get a yellow with protections, unfortunately. But yeah, Gilly currently maintains DRS, which is preventing, once again, Breezer to catch up. What Breezer has to do now is pray that Gilly does try to fight Blake or get nice and close to Blake, because otherwise, if they don't do that, then Gilly's just going to be basically a barrier in between Breezer and Blake. And at the moment, he's not actually gaining anything in the corners, and that's probably due to the medium tyre.
Yeah, those medium tyres 16 lap, like wow. I done 12 laps on my mediums and they were around 50% when I crossed the line, so that proves that Gilly's tyres are going to be absolutely shot. The only thing saving them is the DRS. Did he get into the DRS? He just about did. The gap went to 1 second there for a second. As you can see, he is losing significant amount of time in the corners, but he's able to keep it with the DRS just about on the straights. But now coming into Ascari, the gap's 9-10, so let's see, coming for Ascari now, the tyres don't look too good, they're not giving him the grip he wants. Out of Ascari, the gap's 1.1 seconds, he's out of DRS, there's no way he can get back unless he uses all his battery, which he is doing right now. Gap's 1.1, but he's not going to get it. Breezer now in DRS, 4 tenths behind, into Carabalca. He's going to have a little bit more grip than Gilly coming onto the main straight as Sven spun himself around. Breezer, anyway, back to the wall. Got DRS. Now, Gilly doesn't have any. It looks as though he's using his battery. Into turn 1. Left, right, which way he's going to go? He's going to go to the right hand side, down into turn 1. Gilly does not defend it. Braking very hard. Is he going to shut the door? Yes, he does. Leaves a little bit of space for Gilly there, but he doesn't poke his nose in, and that's Breezer up into P4.
Lovely stuff, well done indeed to the Ferrari, doing them proud. And he's up to P4, as he said. F1 driver for Nifo, he will actually be in P3. Now Breezer, as we saw Gilly and Blake wasn't actually that fast in a straight line. They're also struggling. They might have a bit time to breathe here, but if that's the case and Breezer was a lot faster than Gilly, Breezer might be able to catch up to Blake here. Blake's going to have to defend like a lion for JMO, because although he's probably not going to be able to catch up to him, he doesn't want to let Breezer ruin a 1-2 for AlphaTauri here. So I have to say though, just put it to 1.8. Unless Blake was trying to lift here, that's interesting. He's all of a sudden started to escape very, very late onto the straight. Breezer kind of equalises it as Nifo once again overtaken by JMO as they work together in a train, although JMO is a little bit low on the ERS, so they might be struggling here. But Breezer has got to use these corners to his advantage, otherwise he's going to be in a bit of trouble. I don't know.
Benjamin and Dave Raptors were having a little battle as you were talking, and Dave Raptors has spun earlier on in the lap. Ben made contact and lost a bit of his wing, and now Dave Raptors is around. He's not coming into the pit, surprisingly, but now JJ is going to be all over him. So McLaren could get a good, solid points haul today if JJ can catch up. He's got 3.8 to catch in 2 free laps. Dave Raptors on the older tyres, of course, 12 laps older. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Let's see where this goes, eh?
Yeah, fair enough to Dave Raptors. It's worth a shot, I would say, with this many laps to go of the race. He's got nothing to really lose. But yeah, everybody's kind of got a bit of a gap now. Breezer slowly started to gain on Blake, and Gilly unfortunately not able to do anything about Breezer. Benjamin, he's obviously got an 8-second time penalty, so a 5 and a 3. I don't know, he might be able to get a 5-second removed, but still, Gilly has got a very, very nice gap between himself and the car behind. He can go to the end of this race without pushing. That's unless he gets plagued by a puncture. Although Gilly's very, very good on the tyres. No, he dives into the pit lane. Maybe not feeling it. Maybe thinking that he could get a puncture. And he's got a bit of a safety net here. Although, if you look at the gap, he might be alright. He still needs to get within 3 seconds of Benjamin. But if he's got fresh tyres, that might not be the most impossible thing to do. Onto the softs he goes. Let's have a look at the fastest lap for Gilly, maybe. And also getting within 3 seconds, although he's got 1 lap to do it, and got to warm up the tyres, and got to get past Dave Raptors, and got to defend from JJ. So actually, maybe that wasn't the best idea to go for. I thought he would have done enough to stay ahead, but no.
Blake's just been overtaken by Breezer. I don't know what's going on. Blake is now down to P2 effectively, and now coming on to the last lap in a moment's time. Let's keep on with this. Blake's is going to be putting Breezer under a lot of pressure, although he has only a couple lap older tyres. He's been looking alright for the last few laps, doesn't seem to be dropping off too much. Breezer on a little bit fresher hard tyres, he will have a better grip for the time being, but Blake will get the advantage of DRS. The gap's 3/10 coming onto the final lap. Lap 27 out of 27. Breezer with a good exit, and the gap just extends a little bit. Now Gillies went through it on Dave Raptors, and now he's up into P6. JJ's going to be all over the back of him. He can't get past at the moment, but coming into Parabolica, he's going to use the slipstream, use his battery. Dave Raptors is flashing on the light, meaning he's less than 10%, and JJ now up into P7. Anyway, with Blake and Breezer, nothing's happening so far, so Blake might have messed up here. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah, not got any ERS to push, but then neither has Breezer, so it might be just one of those things, unfortunately, unless Blake's really going to try and push on the final section. He's gone onto the grass a little bit and lost a bit of time. I thought with a 3/10 gap he might actually be in contention to make that move, but at the moment it doesn't look like it anymore. He's going to get the DRS, but I don't think that will be enough. Breezer is looking to recover back to P2. That is Constructors' home race once again, but look at this. JMO is going to lead by 1 second now as he comes around the final corner, and he will finally win in EU Tier. JMO wins the Italian Grand Prix, followed by Niffo, who will take it on time abilities. Breezer is going to be into P2 after all of that, and Blake won't get it. Still a very good effort from both of these guys with all the issues they've had. Actually, the top three, everybody has had issues. Blake takes a P4, and then we have Benjamin looking for this P5 despite the time penalties. Gilly's trying his best to get to an 8 second, but I don't think it would be enough. I think they still need to be within 3 seconds. Benjamin will take that comfortable P5. Then we have Gilly going to take a P6 after all that, as JJ and Dave Raptors must have had an issue or something. Gilly managing to make that tyre work somewhat. And getting ahead of JJ and both Dave Raptors. JJ crosses the line. Fen in P8, it looks like, as Dave Raptors has more issues.
He's got a puncture.
Oh, no.
I think it's his left rear, as he's just pulling off to the left-hand side. He can't do anything. Let's see. Yeah, it's his left rear. He can't turn. Oh, so maybe Gilly was right to pit, because he was around about the same lap tires as Dave Raptors. And he's coming across the line now, limping home with 3 tyres.
Lovely stuff. Now JMO has got it. Well done to him. It is a redemption kind of moment from the last race. He's finally got into that top spot. That's going to be a lot of points as well. As they, I think both, no, he did score some points last time, so he might actually be in the lead. Of course, with Kernan Sebi not participating today, he is the championship leader after all that, and with a double points finish up very, very high up for the Alpha Tauris, that's going to be probably, I'd assume, a constructor's lead as well. Niffo takes the win, J-Man in P2, Breezer in P3, Blake, Benjamin, Gilly, Sven with the fastest lap, Dave Raptors in P9, and the protections finishing off the order. Reese DNF followed by Gary, Lark, Zora, and Lepic earlier on. Let's hope Lepic can get some better luck next time going through the race director, just in case we need to check it later on. And I think, unfortunately, for this one, we will have to check it. But other than that, we will be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Italian Grand Prix. That was a pretty crazy one, I will admit. We start the interviews with Gilly. Gilly, it was looking so good on the tyres. Once again, you're going to give us a nice show at the end, but you had to take it to the pits. What happened?
Well, about 3 laps from the end, I realised I was on 75% and I was just going. I was focusing too much on trying to keep up with, I think it was Breezer and Blake. And then I looked at my tyres and then I just started losing the back end. I thought, nah, I'm going to try and pit and see if I can get into Benjamin's penalties.
So you didn't find yourself, or fancy your chances on making it to the end, hoping for a non...
Well, I didn't think I was
puncture?
going to lose a position. I thought I'd get away with it. So
Ah, fair enough, fair enough.
I thought I'd try and get fastest lap. I didn't.
No, well, I don't know. Sven, of course, are F1 driver, so it might.
Oh.
I don't know what the fastest lap will be for the EU Championship. Or update you as soon as we can. But yeah, well done. It was a good effort, but it didn't quite end the way you wanted it. The next one is Canada. Now, Canada last time around didn't have the best memory of all time. Do you think you can try and redeem yourself? Maybe look at the podium there.
Was that when there was the car on Inters?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And both Hasses were robbed of a win.
Yeah. Sad days, sad days. You think you can
just-
do well there?
I'm just going to go around slowly and hope I don't get any penalties. That's what I can do.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Lots of wear.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time more than today. Alrighty, and we move on to Blake. Blake, that was a tough one. Can I ask, did you have side pod damage throughout that race? Or no?
Yeah, I did.
So that's why you're so slow in a straight line.
Yep. And my tires died off at the end.
That's really not nice. Do you think you could have possibly held on if you didn't have the side pod damage?
Maybe. I just I got torpedoed twice that race. I'll take a P3.
Yeah. Fair enough.
P4,
Well, I think
whatever it is.
if it helps, I'm pretty sure AlphaTauri now leads the constructors. I think. So that's not the worst situation in the end. But yeah, podium's pretty good after the race you've had. I do apologise for that one, but well done to get back up there. How was your wheel as well? You're on a new wheel, I think.
That's good. Better.
Yeah, managed to adapt to it in time.
Yeah, playing a lot of iRacing.
Yeah.
It's, warm
Fair
up,
enough.
but
Maybe we can see you a bit further up with the next race at Canada. Do you like Canada?
yeah, won their last season in NA. Got my first ever pole there. Hope I can replicate that, but yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see you next time. Hopefully you don't have side pod damage there. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Turn 4 sucks.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to the next one. Benjamin, that was a interesting pit lane or strategy that you had to pull off today. Not really your fault entirely. Can you take us through that one? You did also manage to gain a position at the end from Gilly's problems.
Yeah, well, spoke to the strategist before the race and he said it was a 5-stopper, so I had to go with it.
Were
But,
you in the Ferrari
no,
garage?
Oh, occasionally, but first lap, pile up into turn 3, isn't it? Turn 4, sorry. I lost my wing, so I carried out my mediums just with a lost time, basically. Got my drive through, so I was a run through the pit lane. Then I did a few more laps to the end of my medium stint. Came to the safety car, they didn't fix my wing, so that was me onto a new set of tyres, onto hards. And then, but it's too much to think of. And then I had to keep switching tyres, basically. Penalties and so.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Yeah.
New
that's,
wings.
Yeah, not ideal. I don't know. Would you be able to get any of those removed?
Yeah, you can get the 5 second removed. I had no notifications for the entire race,
Oh.
so I do owe apology to Sword because I was racing him under safety car and I didn't even know it was happening. So
Ah. Okay, that makes
into
sense
that
now.
turn 2, I had no clue about any safety car. I was screaming into buddy Gilly and JJ and buddy Nifo's ears. Is it full or is it what? So I had no notifications. So yeah, I can get rid of 5 seconds, but that's it.
Ah, that's not nice. That's not nice. It's a shame. Once again, another a tough race, but managed to get back up the order in the end. So still good points. Yeah, you actually a podium last time and some points today. You're going to be quite high up in the championship. Going into Canada, do you like Canada?
I was worried about before with the braking zones, but I didn't do too bad that race. My leg didn't complain any time at all, so
Fair enough.
not too bad at all. Minus the safety car issue. I
Yeah.
was giving it a rest. Everybody slowed down, but apart from that, we're fine.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for that one. One last question: how do you describe your race in 3 words?
I've stopped strategy.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Breezer. Breezer on the front row. Then it didn't go quite to plan on the safety car restart. Then back up to P2 in the end. Are you somewhat happy with that final result?
Well, yes, I am, but I got mixed feelings because start was okay. We went kinda side by side with JMO with no contact, no carnage. Then I think JMO clipped a little bit of grass and spun, and I managed to pull away. And then the safety car restart was purely my fault. My tires were like 79 degrees. I went to Proto too early and I just spun, and the rest of the race was just catching up what I lost. So
Yeah. Tough one.
yeah.
Not ideal, but it is what it is. You made the best of a bad situation. So yeah, not too bad in the end. And finally, some points for you. Next one, Canada. Do you prefer that than Monza?
Well, I don't like Canada, but definitely more than Monza. So
Do you think you can maybe fight for pole?
well, we will see. We will see.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you very much for last question. How do you describe your race in 3 words?
Where banana perfect.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Well done today. Alrighty, we move on to JMO. JMO, it's here. Well done. You got the win. You are today's race winner. For the Italian Grand Prix, are you happy with that one?
It was definitely not
like-
foreseen. After the first lap, I was like, we've been playing a lot of iRacing, and let's just say these have a lot more horsepower than what I've been racing. And I don't know if I just got on the throttle too much or what, but yeah, just thankful I didn't get any damage, and the safety cars come out and help.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, towards the later stages of the race, you're able to kind of just sit with the F1 guys and sit in the DRS. Did that help, especially the time penalty?
Absolutely, dude. Those the last 2 guys, I wish I could have got them. I know one was I think one was a Williams, and was the other one
Alpine.
Alpine, that's right. And they were just unbelievably fast. And it was just DRS, and just, I could tell we were both playing with overtake, and somehow or another, like I say, I think the one guy had better pace than me, the Alpine, but he pitted. And I think if he'd stayed out, I think we would have seen a different winner.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. It's good to see you on the top step for the first time. Well done today, really well deserved. That is now, I believe, you leading both drivers and constructors championships, if I'm correct. Going into Canada, do you think you can do it again there?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully the team will. I think Blake is going to be stronger in Canada. Blake's just really good at the track, so I think we're going to be on the top, but it won't be me.
Fair enough, fair enough. We'll stay optimistic and well done today. One last question, how do you describe your race in 3 words?
Thankful for cautions.
Awesome job, well done. See you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Alrighty, and we move to the final interview. Nifo,
Yeah.
another win. Well done. Well, I say another win. Finally, you get the win in the EU Championship. A bit of
Yeah.
redemption. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It was a lot of chaos. After turn 1, I was like, oh, actually, this is. Oh, it went quite well, no crashes. I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one. And then The next chicane had a different story. I was about to avoid the whole carnage, but then I got hit behind. From behind, and I hit the guy in front of me because I was just drifting and locking up. So that was unfortunate. Had to pit, and then I had the mediums, which went on for a few laps. Then the safety car came, and then the hards, and then I stayed on the hards till the end. So they were 80% or 81% at the end. So I was quite scared they were gonna pop, but luckily they didn't. And then I was behind JMO on the last few laps, and I was like, he has a penalty anyway, so I wasn't gonna push. I was just saving the tires and staying within the 3 seconds, and then just went that way.
Yeah, fair enough. Really well done. Into the next one. If you can keep the momentum, I know you say you don't quite like the track. I think you're pretty good at it. Do you think you can do well there?
I mean, if I can avoid the curves, it will be all right. But first, I need to avoid them. So let's hope so.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Please don't explode.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Well done today. And that's been it. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll pass you over to Zingy.
Right, well, that's a good race again, once again. Join us for NA at 1900 PST for Italy. Once again, I don't have much to say, so we'll see you guys then.